No Amiga demonstration would be complete without mentioning games, and it was kind of a love-hate relationship with games and the Amiga. Of course, Amiga owners knew that their machines were excellent game machines, and in fact had been initially designed as a game machine that could also function as a full-blown computer. But that reputation kind of gave it a bit of a toy image to some of those in the MS-DOS and Macintosh worlds, and sometimes the Amiga owners felt their machines weren't being taken seriously because of the reputations for playing great games. But nonetheless, the Amiga was excellent at games, and although this particular one doesn't have maybe the most advanced graphics or sound, it was probably one of the greatest games for the Amiga, and it is Lemmings. And we'll go ahead and get that going here. I have two floppy drives, so we won't have to do any disk swapping here. I've also connected the Amiga 500 up to a GVP Genlock, which will allow me to hopefully capture a little higher quality video than just aiming the camera at the screen here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put disk 2 in, and we'll also put disk 1 in, and let her boot up. This Amiga has 1 meg of RAM, which gives it a little extra boost in the game. Psygnosis, a great company, also did Shadow of the Beast. Still kind of in business, doing some PS3 games under a different name now. I don't recall off the top of my head what the name it is. And then DMA Design, I believe, ended up morphing into Rockstar Games, I think. Makers of Grand Theft Auto series. And again, one of the worst things about Amiga platform would be the floppy disk load times. You'd still wait a while, as opposed to a hard drive based system. Of course, you could add hard drives to the Amiga 500, but a lot of these games were copy protected and not hard drive installable. We'll go ahead and watch the intro here. That zoom out there on the Lemmings title would be a little bit faster on some of the other Amigas, like the Amiga 3000 or so would definitely do that piece a little bit quicker. The Amiga 500 and 2000 probably about the same. 2000 might have been a little faster. And again, we're waiting for floppy disk loads here. With 2 disks, at least it's not prompting you to swap disks. Okay, there are probably a lot of videos on YouTube describing Lemmings and showing Lemmings in action, but what I want to do with this particular video is show off a feature that was somewhat unique to the Amiga version. I think possibly the Atari ST may have also had this. 2-player mode is possible on the Amiga because it has 2 identical 9-pin joystick ports, which also function perfectly fine as mouse ports. So if you plug a second mouse into the system, like I have here, just by plugging it into the second joystick port, you can now do a 2-player game of Lemmings, which is actually quite a lot of fun. And that's what I'll show in this video, since this is something kind of unique to the Amiga version. I think the Amiga version of Lemmings is probably the best version, of all the ones I've played anyway. As is typical, the original platform on which the game appears typically has the best version. Okay, in 2-player mode, you have blue and green Lemmings. The color schemes are reversed, where there is blue Lemmings with green hair, there's also green Lemmings with blue hair. And you can see the map up here and the way it works. And now you'll see that there's a split screen. One mouse controls one screen, the other mouse controls the other screen. And the right side has control of the green Lemmings by giving them skills. And of course I'm not doing very well here because I'm not paying attention and trying to do 2 players at once. But The idea, of course, is to get the most lemmings into, choose the builder tool here, there we go, and get the most lemmings into your exit. And of course there's an exit marked by a blue flag and an exit marked by a green flag off to the side. If we pan over, you'll see the blue lemming exit over here on this side. Okay, so that looks all pretty straightforward, but the fun comes in where you can trick your opponent's lemmings into going into your exit. So if I am sneaky here while the green player is off making sure there's no other traps for his lemmings, I can put a blocker here, like so. And then maybe put a blocker here and get some guys to turn around, and then I'll blow up this blocker. Hopefully I didn't get him too close to the bridge there. I may have to rebuild my bridge. Looks like we're alright. Now, as you can see, what's happening is my blocker is causing all of the lemmings that hit him to turn around, and that includes the green lemmings. At the bottom right now, the green player is ahead of the blue player because they have more lemmings, but it doesn't matter whose lemmings go into your exit. As long as you get the most in at the end of the round, you win the round, and start off with more lemmings at the beginning of the next round. So, if the green player hasn't been paying attention, he's going to start losing all of his lemmings. In a moment, he'll probably figure out that there isn't anybody showing up at his door, and he's going to realize what's happening here, and in order to fix it, the only way to do this in this particular one would be to build a bridge over my blocker. So he's going to realize what's going on here, and try to repair the damage, and probably fight fire with fire by putting a blocker in here in one of the guys that's turning around. And as you can see, this would become quite an intense competition in a very simple level to get the most number of lemmings. And you can see that the blue player now has stolen a lot of the green lemmings, and if nothing else changes, he's going to win this round. So quite a fun addition to the game, two-player mode, with the different maps and the challenges in making sure that the other player wasn't stealing your lemmings. It would become quite an intense competition and a lot of fun. A great fun version of the game to play, and one I wish that would have showed up on some other platforms, but to the best of my knowledge, possibly the Atari ST was the only other one that had a two-player edition of Lemmings. We'll go ahead and let this run. There's only a few lemmings left to go. Now the green player is stealing a couple of blue lemmings, but it isn't going to be enough to make up for the ones that were lost earlier. And there we go, the end results. And as we go to start the next round, the blue player will start off with more lemmings as a reward for winning the first round, and there we go. And the game will continue. I don't remember how many two-player levels there were. I'd imagine it's about 10 or so, I don't recall. But certainly could go on for a while until one player lost all of their lemmings and couldn't continue. There you go, two-player Lemmings. Nice addition to the Amiga version.